Welcome to Wisdom Audiobooks. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly connect with others, while you feel stuck in your own shell? What if I told you that shyness is not a permanent trait, but a learned behavior that can be unlearned? This audiobook will guide you through the transformative power of emotional intelligence and social skills, helping you unlock your true potential. Together, we'll explore how mastering these tools can reshape your personal and professional life. Introduction. Imagine this: you're at a social gathering, and the room buzzes with energy. But instead of feeling connected, you find yourself hesitating, unsure of how to engage or what to say. Or perhaps you've struggled to build relationships that truly resonate, leaving you wondering if something's missing. Maybe you've even questioned whether you'll ever feel confident in navigating life's emotional complexities. If any of this sounds familiar, take a deep breath. You're exactly where you need to be. This audiobook is your guide to understanding the root of these challenges and equipping yourself with the tools to transform them. The audiobook You're Not Shy: How to Master Emotional Intelligence and Social Skills is written and published by Wisdom Audiobooks. This audiobook is designed to help you understand and harness the power of emotional intelligence, EQ, to navigate life's challenges. Develop strong social skills that will empower you to communicate effectively and build lasting relationships. Transform your mindset and step into a life filled with confidence, success, and happiness. As we move forward, I encourage you to listen attentively and take notes. Each chapter is packed with actionable insights, real-life examples, and strategies that you can immediately apply to your life. Remember, this is not just an audiobook. It's a roadmap to becoming the best version of yourself. To quote Maya Angelou, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. Today, you're taking the first step toward knowing better. And once you finish this audiobook, you'll be equipped to do better in every aspect of your life. So, are you ready to embark on this transformative journey? Your wisdom journey starts here. Chapter 1: Understanding Emotional Intelligence, EQ. In this chapter, we'll dive deep into the fascinating world of emotional intelligence, or EQ. This is the foundation of everything we'll explore in this audiobook. Why? Because understanding EQ is like holding a key that unlocks the door to better relationships, stronger communication, and greater success in life. Think about it. How many times have you felt misunderstood or struggled to connect with someone because emotions got in the way? Or maybe you've been in situations where you wish you could read people better, anticipate their reactions, or manage your own feelings more effectively. That's exactly what EQ is all about. In this chapter, we'll break down what emotional intelligence truly means, explore its 5 core components, and discuss why EQ matters more than IQ when it comes to achieving happiness and success. By the end of this chapter, you'll have a clear understanding of how EQ works and why it's such a game changer. So, let's get started. 1. What is emotional intelligence? Let's begin by answering a fundamental question. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence, often referred to as EQ, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, as well as the emotions of others. It's not just about being aware of feelings. It's about using that awareness to guide our thoughts and actions in a way that benefits ourselves and those around us. To put it simply, EQ is the secret ingredient that helps us navigate the complexities of human interactions. It's what allows us to stay calm under pressure, resolve conflicts peacefully, and build strong, meaningful relationships. Now, here's an interesting fact. While IQ measures cognitive abilities like logic and problem solving, EQ focuses on emotional and social skills. And guess what? Studies show that EQ is a far better predictor of success than IQ. In fact, according to psychologist Daniel Goleman, who popularized the concept of EQ, the most effective leaders are alike in one crucial way: they all have a high degree of emotional intelligence. So, why does EQ matter so much? Imagine this: 2 people are applying for the same job. One has an impressive resume with top-notch qualifications, but struggles to connect with others during the interview. The other may not have as many credentials, but they exude warmth, confidence, and empathy. Who do you think will leave a lasting impression? That's the power of EQ. It's not just about what you know, it's about how you make others feel. Let me share a quick story to illustrate this point. A few years ago, I worked with a young professional named Sarah. She was incredibly talented, with degrees from prestigious universities and a list of accomplishments that would make anyone proud. But despite her qualifications, Sarah struggled to advance in her career. Her colleagues found her difficult to work with, and she often clashed with her managers. When Sarah decided to focus on developing her EQ, everything changed. She learned to listen actively, manage her emotions during stressful situations, and empathize with her team members. Within a year, she was promoted to a leadership role, not because her technical skills improved, but because she became a better communicator and collaborator. Sarah's story is a powerful reminder that EQ can transform not only your personal life but also your professional trajectory. Now that we've established what EQ is and why it's important, let's move on to the next section, where we'll explore the 5 core components of emotional intelligence. 2. The 5 components of EQ. The concept of emotional intelligence can be broken down into 5 key components. These components form the backbone of EQ and provide a framework for understanding how we interact with ourselves and others. Let's explore each one in detail. 1. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. It's the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions, strengths, weaknesses, values, and motivations. Without self-awareness, it's impossible to manage your emotions effectively or relate to others. For example, imagine you're in a meeting, and someone criticizes your idea. If you're self-aware, you'll recognize that your initial reaction, perhaps anger or defensiveness, is natural, but you won't let it dictate your response. Instead, you'll take a moment to process the feedback objectively and respond constructively. As Aristotle once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Self-awareness allows you to step back and observe your emotions without judgment, giving you the clarity to make better decisions. 2. Self-regulation. Once you're aware of your emotions, the next step is learning how to regulate them. Self-regulation is the ability to control or redirect disruptive emotions and impulses. It's about staying calm under pressure, adapting to change, and handling challenges with grace. Think about Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison before becoming South Africa's first black president. Despite facing unimaginable hardships, he never allowed bitterness or anger to consume him. Instead, he channeled his emotions into forgiveness and reconciliation, transforming a nation in the process. Mandela's story teaches us that self-regulation isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about channeling them in a positive direction. When you master self-regulation, you become someone others can rely on, even in the toughest situations. 3. Motivation. Motivation is the drive to achieve goals for reasons beyond external rewards like money or recognition. People with high EQ are intrinsically motivated. They pursue their passions with energy and persistence, even when the going gets tough. Take J.K. Rowling, for instance. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she faced countless rejections from publishers. Yet, she remained determined to share her story with the world. Her internal motivation kept her going, proving that passion and perseverance can overcome any obstacle. When you cultivate intrinsic motivation, you tap into a source of energy that fuels your growth and inspires those around you. 4. Empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's what allows us to connect deeply with people, whether it's a friend going through a tough time or a colleague struggling with a project. One of my favorite quotes about empathy comes from Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. Empathy doesn't mean agreeing with everyone, it means making an effort to see the world through their eyes. When you practice empathy, you create trust and foster stronger relationships. 5. Social skills. Finally, we come to social skills, the ability to manage relationships and build networks. This component ties everything together, as it involves applying all the other aspects of EQ in real-world interactions. Great social skills aren't just about being charismatic or outgoing. They're about listening actively, communicating clearly, and resolving conflicts diplomatically. Think about leaders like Oprah Winfrey, whose ability to connect with people has made her one of the most influential figures in the world. By mastering these 5 components, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills, you'll unlock the full potential of your emotional intelligence. Now, let's talk about why EQ matters more than IQ in today's world. 3. Why EQ matters more than IQ. Let's dive into one of the most important questions we'll explore in this chapter. Why does emotional intelligence matter more than IQ? At first glance, it might seem counterintuitive. After all, IQ has long been considered the gold standard for measuring intelligence and predicting success. But here's the truth. While IQ can help you solve problems and excel academically, it doesn't guarantee happiness, strong relationships, or professional fulfillment. That's where EQ comes in. IQ versus EQ, what's the difference? IQ, or intelligence quotient, measures cognitive abilities like logic, reasoning, and problem solving. It's a fixed number that typically doesn't change much over time. On the other hand, EQ is dynamic. It can be developed and refined throughout your life. To illustrate the difference, consider this analogy. IQ is like the engine of a car, while EQ is the driver. A powerful engine can take you far, but without a skilled driver, you're unlikely to reach your destination safely or efficiently. Similarly, no matter how smart you are, if you lack emotional intelligence, you'll struggle to navigate life's challenges and connect with others. The science behind EQ. Research supports the idea that EQ is a stronger predictor of success than IQ. In fact, a study conducted by TalentSmart found that 90% of top performers in the workplace possess high emotional intelligence, compared to just 20% of low performers. Another study published in the Journal of Organizational Behavior revealed that EQ accounts for nearly 58% of job performance across all industries. These findings make perfect sense when you think about it. Success in today's world isn't just about technical skills, it's about collaboration, communication, and adaptability. And these qualities stem directly from emotional intelligence. Real-life examples of EQ in action. Let me share another inspiring story to drive this point home. Have you heard of Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks? When Schultz took over the company in the 1980s, he didn't just focus on profits. He prioritized people. He introduced groundbreaking employee benefits, like healthcare and stock options, even for part-time workers. Schultz understood that happy employees lead to happy customers, and his approach paid off. Under his leadership, Starbucks grew into a global powerhouse, not because of superior coffee beans, but because of its culture of empathy and connection. Schultz once said, "Success is best when it's shared." This philosophy reflects the essence of emotional intelligence, recognizing the value of others and fostering mutual growth. Now, contrast Schultz's approach with someone who relies solely on IQ. Imagine a brilliant engineer who designs cutting-edge products but struggles to work with their team. No matter how innovative their ideas are, they'll face roadblocks if they can't communicate effectively or resolve conflicts. EQ in everyday life. You don't have to be a CEO or a public figure to benefit from emotional intelligence. EQ plays a crucial role in every aspect of life, from personal relationships to career advancement. For instance, let's talk about dating and romantic relationships. Have you ever met someone who seemed perfect on paper, smart, attractive, successful, but lacked emotional awareness? Chances are, the relationship didn't last long. Why? Because love isn't just about compatibility. It's about understanding each other's emotions and responding with care and compassion. Similarly, in parenting, EQ helps you connect with your children on a deeper level. Instead of reacting impulsively to misbehavior, emotionally intelligent parents pause, empathize, and guide their kids toward better choices. As psychologist John Gottman famously said, emotionally intelligent parents raise emotionally intelligent children. How EQ impacts leadership. If you aspire to be a leader, whether at work, in your community, or within your family, EQ is non-negotiable. Leaders with high emotional intelligence inspire trust, motivate their teams, and create environments where everyone feels valued. Take Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, as an example. When Nadella took over in 2014, Microsoft was struggling to innovate and compete in a rapidly changing tech landscape. Rather than doubling down on technical expertise, Nadella focused on transforming the company's culture. He encouraged employees to embrace empathy, collaborate openly, and take risks without fear of failure. Under Nadella's leadership, Microsoft's market value skyrocketed, surpassing $2 trillion for the first time in its history. His secret? Prioritizing emotional intelligence over traditional metrics of success. A final thought on EQ versus IQ. To sum it up, IQ might get you through school, but EQ will get you through life. As Steve Jobs once said, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. Loving what you do, and doing it well, requires emotional intelligence. It's the key to unlocking your full potential and creating a life filled with purpose, connection, and joy. By now, I hope you have a clear understanding of what emotional intelligence is, why it matters, and how it can transform your life. In the next chapter, we'll tackle one of the biggest obstacles to mastering EQ, social anxiety. You'll learn practical techniques to overcome fear, build confidence, and step into your power. But before we move on, take a moment to reflect on what we've covered so far. Ask yourself, which component of EQ do I need to work on the most? How can I start applying these principles in my daily life? Remember, self-awareness is the first step toward growth. Chapter 2: Overcoming Social Anxiety and Building Confidence. In Chapter 2, we'll tackle one of the most common challenges people face when it comes to emotional intelligence and social skills: social anxiety. If you've ever felt nervous before a big presentation, avoided attending social gatherings because you didn't know what to say, or worried about being judged by others, you're not alone. Social anxiety affects millions of people worldwide, and it can be a significant barrier to personal and professional growth. But here's the good news: social anxiety is not a life sentence. It's a learned behavior, and like any behavior, it can be unlearned. In this chapter, we'll explore the root causes of social anxiety, uncover why it happens, and provide practical techniques to help you overcome it. We'll also dive into the art of building confidence, a skill that goes hand in hand with conquering social anxiety. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop through practice and self-awareness. By the end of this chapter, you'll have actionable strategies to boost your self-esteem and step into any social situation with ease. So, are you ready to break free from fear and embrace your true potential? Let's get started. 1. Understanding social anxiety. To overcome social anxiety, we first need to understand what it is and why it happens. Social anxiety is more than just feeling shy or nervous. It's an intense fear of being judged, embarrassed, or rejected in social situations. For some people, it manifests as sweaty palms and racing thoughts before a meeting. For others, it might mean avoiding parties, networking events, or even casual conversations altogether. The roots of social anxiety often stem from a combination of factors, including genetics, upbringing, and past experiences. For example, if you grew up in an environment where mistakes were harshly criticized or where expressing emotions was discouraged, you might develop a fear of judgment later in life. Similarly, traumatic experiences, like being bullied or humiliated in front of others, can leave lasting scars that fuel social anxiety. But here's the thing: social anxiety isn't just about external circumstances, it's also deeply tied to how we perceive ourselves. People with social anxiety tend to overthink their actions, obsess over minor details, and assume the worst-case scenario. They might worry, what if I say something stupid, or what if no one likes me? These negative thought patterns create a vicious cycle, reinforcing the fear and making it harder to break free. Let me share a story to illustrate this point. A few years ago, I worked with a young woman named Emily. She was incredibly talented, with a degree in graphic design and a portfolio full of impressive work. But whenever she had to present her ideas to clients or colleagues, she froze. Her voice would shake, her mind would go blank, and she'd retreat into herself, convinced that everyone was judging her harshly. When Emily decided to confront her social anxiety, she realized that much of her fears stemmed from childhood experiences. Growing up, she had been teased for being too quiet or awkward, and those labels stuck with her into adulthood. With time and effort, Emily learned to reframe her thoughts, focus on her strengths, and gradually expose herself to the very situations she feared. Today, she's a confident speaker who inspires others with her creativity and passion. Emily's journey reminds us that social anxiety doesn't define us. It's simply a challenge we can overcome. As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. Facing our fears head-on is the first step toward breaking free from social anxiety. Now that we've explored the causes and effects of social anxiety, let's move on to the next section, where we'll discuss practical techniques to build confidence and reclaim your power. 2. Techniques to build confidence. Confidence is the antidote to social anxiety. When you feel confident, you're less likely to worry about what others think of you, and more likely to engage authentically in social interactions. But how do you build confidence, especially if you've spent years doubting yourself? Let's break it down into 3 key areas: mindset shifts, body language, and small wins. 1. Mindset shifts. The way you think directly impacts how you feel and behave. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "people will judge me," you're setting yourself up for failure. To build confidence, you need to rewire your mindset and replace negative thoughts with empowering ones. One powerful technique is called cognitive reframing. This involves identifying irrational or limiting beliefs and challenging them with evidence-based counterarguments. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "Everyone will laugh at me if I make a mistake," ask yourself, is that really true? Have I ever seen someone laugh at another person for making a genuine effort? Chances are, the answer is no. Most people are too focused on themselves to judge you harshly. Another mindset shift is practicing self-compassion. Many people with social anxiety are perfectionists. They hold themselves to impossibly high standards and beat themselves up over minor mistakes. Instead of striving for perfection, aim for progress. Treat yourself with kindness and remind yourself that growth takes time. As Brené Brown wisely said, owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing we'll ever do. 2. Body language. Did you know that your body language can influence how you feel? Research shows that adopting confident postures, like standing tall, maintaining eye contact, and smiling, can actually boost your mood and reduce stress. Amy Cuddy, a Harvard psychologist, conducted a groundbreaking study on the concept of power posing. She found that holding expansive poses, such as standing with your hands on your hips, the Wonder Woman pose, for just 2 minutes can increase feelings of confidence and lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. Try this exercise right now. Sit up straight, take a deep breath, and smile. Notice how your energy shifts instantly. Your body sends signals to your brain, telling it that you're ready to take on the world. Over time, these small adjustments in posture can lead to significant improvements in how you carry yourself and interact with others. 3. Small wins. Building confidence is like climbing a staircase. You don't reach the top all at once. Start by setting small, achievable goals that push you slightly outside your comfort zone. For example, if you dread speaking up in meetings, challenge yourself to contribute one idea during the next session. If you avoid introducing yourself to new people, start by saying hello to a stranger at the coffee shop. Each small win reinforces your belief in your abilities and motivates you to keep going. As Tony Robbins famously said, small progress is still progress. Celebrate every step forward, no matter how insignificant it may seem. Let me share a quick story to highlight the power of small wins. A man named David came to me struggling with extreme shyness. He wanted to become more outgoing but didn't know where to start. Together, we created a simple plan. He would initiate one conversation with a stranger each day. At first, it was terrifying. He stumbled over his words and felt awkward. But over time, he grew more comfortable. Eventually, he joined a local Toastmasters club to improve his public speaking skills. Today, David is a charismatic speaker who mentors others in overcoming their fears. David's transformation proves that confidence isn't built overnight. It's cultivated through consistent effort and incremental progress. Now that we've covered mindset shifts, body language, and small wins, let's move on to the next section, where we'll explore practical exercises to further boost your confidence. 3. Practical exercises for confidence. Now that we've explored the theory behind building confidence, let's dive into some practical exercises you can start using today. These exercises are designed to help you take action, step out of your comfort zone, and gradually build the self-assurance you need to thrive in social situations. Exercise 1. The mirror technique. One of the most effective ways to boost confidence is by practicing positive affirmations in front of a mirror. This exercise might feel awkward at first, but trust me, it works. Here's how it works. Stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and say 3 empowering statements about yourself. For example, I am capable and strong. I deserve to be heard and respected. I am worthy of love and connection. Repeat these affirmations every morning for at least 5 minutes. Over time, you'll notice a shift in how you perceive yourself. Why does this work? Because the words you speak to yourself shape your inner narrative. As Maya Angelou once said, words mean more than what is set down on paper. It takes the human voice to infuse them with deeper meaning. By speaking kindly to yourself, you're rewiring your brain to believe in your worth. Exercise 2. The 30-day challenge. Another powerful way to build confidence is through consistent exposure to the very situations that make you anxious. I call this the 30-day challenge. Here's how it works. Identify one specific social situation that triggers your anxiety. For example, introducing yourself to new people, speaking up in meetings, or attending networking events. Commit to facing that situation every day for 30 days, even if it's just for a few minutes. On day 1, you might feel nervous and unsure. But by day 10, you'll start noticing subtle improvements. By day 30, you'll likely feel significantly more comfortable and confident. Let me share an example. A young professional named Mark struggled with networking events. He'd show up, grab a drink, and stand in the corner, hoping no one would approach him. When he decided to take on the 30-day challenge, he committed to introducing himself to at least 3 new people at every event. At first, it was uncomfortable. He stumbled over his words and felt self-conscious. But as the days went by, he became more natural and relaxed. By the end of the challenge, Mark had not only expanded his network but also discovered a newfound sense of confidence. Exercise 3. Visualization practice. Visualization is a powerful tool used by athletes, performers, and successful individuals to prepare for challenging situations. By imagining yourself succeeding, you program your mind to act confidently when the moment arrives. Here's how to practice visualization. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and picture yourself in a social situation where you want to excel. For instance, imagine yourself giving a presentation, attending a party, or having a meaningful conversation. Visualize every detail: how you look, how you sound, how others respond to you. Feel the emotions of success, pride, joy, and satisfaction. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day visualizing your success. This exercise primes your brain to focus on possibilities rather than fears. As Muhammad Ali famously said, "I don't count my sit-ups. I only start counting when it starts hurting because they're the only ones that count." In the same way, the moments when you push through discomfort are the ones that truly build confidence. Exercise 4. Journaling for growth. Journaling is another excellent tool for overcoming social anxiety and building confidence. Writing allows you to process your thoughts, reflect on your progress, and celebrate your wins. Start by dedicating 10 minutes each evening to journaling. Answer these 3 questions. 1. What social situations did I face today, and how did I handle them? 2. What did I do well, and what could I improve? 3. What am I proud of accomplishing today? This practice helps you track your growth and reinforces positive behaviors. Over time, you'll see patterns emerge, moments of courage, resilience, and triumph that will motivate you to keep going. Exercise 5. Role-playing scenarios. If you're preparing for a specific social situation, such as a job interview or a public speaking event, role-playing can be incredibly helpful. Enlist a friend, family member, or mentor to simulate the scenario with you. Practice different responses, body language, and tones until you feel comfortable. For example, if you're preparing for a presentation, rehearse it multiple times in front of someone who can provide constructive feedback. Pay attention to their suggestions and refine your delivery. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel when the real moment arrives. As Vince Lombardi once said, practice does not make perfect. Only perfect practice makes perfect. Focus on quality over quantity, and strive to improve with each repetition. 4. Overcoming self-doubt and fear of judgment. One of the biggest obstacles to overcoming social anxiety is self-doubt, the nagging voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, smart enough, or interesting enough. Coupled with the fear of judgment from others, self-doubt can paralyze you and prevent you from taking risks. Let's address these challenges head-on and explore strategies to silence self-doubt and embrace vulnerability. Understanding self-doubt. Self-doubt often stems from past experiences of failure or criticism. Maybe you were told as a child that you weren't outgoing enough, or perhaps you've faced rejection in personal or professional settings. These experiences can leave scars that manifest as self-doubt later in life. The key to overcoming self-doubt is recognizing that it's not a reflection of reality. It's a distorted perception fueled by fear. To combat it, ask yourself, what evidence supports this belief? Am I basing this on facts or assumptions? Most of the time, you'll find that your doubts are unfounded. Silencing the inner critic. Your inner critic, the voice that says you're going to mess up, or no one wants to hear what you have to say, is one of your biggest enemies. To silence it, try this technique. Whenever the critic speaks, respond with kindness. For example, if your inner critic says you're too awkward to make friends, counter it with, I'm learning and growing every day. That's what matters. Over time, this dialogue will weaken the critic's power and strengthen your self-belief. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. Facing the fear of judgment. The fear of being judged is another major barrier to social confidence. Many people avoid social interactions because they assume others are scrutinizing their every move. But here's the truth. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves to judge you harshly. To overcome this fear, remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes, and that's okay. In fact, making mistakes is part of being human. As Winston Churchill once said, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Instead of fearing judgment, focus on authenticity. When you show up as your true self, you attract people who appreciate and value you for who you are. Embracing vulnerability. Finally, let's talk about vulnerability, a concept popularized by researcher Brené Brown. Vulnerability means allowing yourself to be seen, heard, and felt without armor or pretense. It's scary, yes, but it's also the birthplace of connection, creativity, and courage. When you embrace vulnerability, you stop hiding behind perfectionism and start showing up imperfectly. You realize that your flaws don't diminish your worth, they enhance it. As Brené Brown puts it, vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when you have no control over the outcome. So, the next time you feel tempted to hold back, remind yourself that vulnerability is strength, not weakness. Take the leap, share your voice, and watch how it transforms your relationships and your life. Now that we've covered practical exercises and strategies to overcome self-doubt and fear, let's pause and reflect. Which exercise resonates with you the most? How can you incorporate these tools into your daily routine? Remember, confidence is a muscle. It grows stronger with use. 5. Building resilience and long-term confidence. Confidence isn't just about feeling good in the moment, it's about cultivating resilience so you can bounce back from setbacks and continue growing over time. In this final section, we'll explore how to build long-term confidence by embracing challenges, learning from failures, and nurturing a growth mindset. Embracing challenges as opportunities. One of the most important lessons I've learned in my own journey is that challenges are not obstacles. They're opportunities for growth. Every time you face a difficult situation and push through it, you become stronger and more capable. Think about athletes training for a marathon. They don't start by running 26 miles on day one. Instead, they gradually increase their distance, pushing their limits little by little until they reach their goal. The same principle applies to building confidence. Start small, embrace discomfort, and celebrate each milestone along the way. As Helen Keller once said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. When you view challenges as adventures rather than threats, you open yourself up to endless possibilities. Learning from failure. Failure is an inevitable part of life, but it's also one of the greatest teachers. Unfortunately, many people avoid taking risks because they fear failure. But here's the truth: every successful person has failed countless times before achieving greatness. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison didn't let failure stop him. Instead, he used it as feedback to refine his approach. You can do the same. The next time you experience a setback, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to improve? By reframing failure as a stepping stone to success, you'll develop the resilience needed to overcome any obstacle. Nurturing a growth mindset. A growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, is essential for long-term confidence. People with a fixed mindset believe their talents are innate and unchangeable, while those with a growth mindset see challenges as chances to improve. To nurture a growth mindset, focus on progress rather than perfection. Celebrate your efforts, no matter how small, and remind yourself that mastery takes time. As Carol Dweck, the psychologist who coined the term, explains, becoming is better than being. It's the process of learning and evolving that truly matters. Here's a practical tip. At the end of each week, write down 3 things you did to step out of your comfort zone. Reflect on what worked, what didn't, and how you can adjust moving forward. This habit will reinforce your commitment to growth and keep you motivated. Surrounding yourself with supportive people. The people you surround yourself with play a crucial role in shaping your confidence. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity or criticism, it's easy to internalize those messages and doubt yourself. On the other hand, supportive, encouraging individuals can inspire you to reach new heights. Seek out mentors, friends, or communities that uplift and challenge you in positive ways. Join groups related to your interests, attend workshops, or participate in online forums where you can connect with like-minded individuals. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you will help you stay focused on your goals. Practicing gratitude and self-compassion. Finally, don't underestimate the power of gratitude and self-compassion in building long-term confidence. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life, fostering a sense of contentment and peace. Start a daily gratitude practice by writing down 3 things you're thankful for each day. They don't have to be big. Sometimes the smallest joys, like a warm cup of coffee or a kind word from a friend, can make the biggest difference. Similarly, practice self-compassion by treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a loved one. When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, say, "It's okay. I'm human, and I'm learning." As Melody Beattie beautifully puts it, gratitude turns what we have into enough, and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. It makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. 6. Wrapping up Chapter 2. We've covered a lot of ground in this chapter, from understanding social anxiety and building confidence to overcoming self-doubt and nurturing resilience. Let's take a moment to recap the key takeaways. 1. Social anxiety is a learned behavior, not a permanent trait. By understanding its root causes and challenging negative thought patterns, you can break free from its grip. 2. Confidence is built through action. Small wins, mindset shifts, and consistent effort are the keys to developing self-assurance. 3. Practical exercises like affirmations, visualization, and journaling can help you rewire your brain and prepare for success. 4. Resilience is the foundation of long-term confidence. Embrace challenges, learn from failures, and nurture a growth mindset to keep moving forward. 5. Surround yourself with positivity, practice gratitude, and treat yourself with compassion to maintain momentum on your journey. Remember, confidence isn't something you achieve overnight. It's a lifelong practice. The more you invest in yourself, the more rewards you'll reap. Before we move on to Chapter 3, I want to leave you with this inspiring quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson: "Do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." You have the power to create your own path, overcome your fears, and build the life you desire. Chapter 3: Mastering Communication Skills. In this chapter, we'll explore one of the most essential skills for personal and professional success: communication. Think about it. Every meaningful relationship, every career opportunity, and every moment of connection starts with effective communication. Whether you're delivering a presentation, negotiating a deal, or simply having a conversation with a friend, your ability to communicate determines how well you're understood and how deeply you connect with others. But here's the challenge: communication isn't just about words, it's about listening, understanding, and responding in a way that resonates. It's an art and a science, and mastering it requires intention, practice, and awareness. In this chapter, we'll break down the key components of communication into 3 main areas. 1. The art of active listening, how to truly hear and understand others. 2. Nonverbal communication, the power of body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. 3. Effective verbal communication, techniques to speak clearly, confidently, and persuasively. By the end of this chapter, you'll have a toolkit of strategies to enhance your communication skills and build stronger, more meaningful relationships. So, let's dive in. 1. The art of active listening. Let's start with one of the most underrated yet powerful aspects of communication: active listening. Many people think communication is all about talking, but the truth is, listening is just as, if not more, important. Active listening means fully focusing on the speaker, understanding their message, and responding thoughtfully. It's not just about hearing words, it's about tuning into emotions, intentions, and unspoken cues. Why active listening matters. Active listening is the foundation of trust and connection. When someone feels heard, they feel valued. This creates a safe space for open dialogue and deeper understanding. On the flip side, poor listening can lead to misunderstandings, frustration, and damaged relationships. As Stephen R. Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, famously said, "Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply." If you've ever been in a conversation where the other person was clearly waiting for their turn to speak instead of truly engaging, you know how disheartening it feels. How to practice active listening. Here are 5 practical techniques to become a better listener. 1. Give your full attention. Put away distractions like your phone or laptop, and focus entirely on the speaker. Maintain eye contact and lean slightly forward to show you're engaged. 2. Avoid interrupting. Interrupting sends the message that your thoughts are more important than theirs. Instead, wait until they finish speaking before responding. 3. Ask open-ended questions. Questions like, "Can you tell me more about that?" or "How did that make you feel?" encourage the speaker to elaborate and share their perspective. 4. Paraphrase what you hear. Repeat back what the speaker has said in your own words to confirm understanding. For example, "So what I'm hearing is that you're feeling overwhelmed by the workload. Is that right?" 5. Pay attention to emotions. Sometimes, the underlying emotion is more important than the actual words. Notice tone, pace, and body language to get a fuller picture of what the speaker is trying to convey. A real-life example of active listening. Let me share a story to illustrate the power of active listening. A manager named Lisa noticed that one of her team members, John, seemed unusually quiet during meetings. Concerned, she decided to have a one-on-one conversation with him. Instead of jumping straight into solutions, Lisa asked John how he was feeling and gave him space to express himself. She listened attentively, nodded occasionally, and asked thoughtful follow-up questions. Through this process, John revealed that he felt undervalued because his ideas weren't being acknowledged. Armed with this insight, Lisa made a conscious effort to involve John more in discussions and recognize his contributions publicly. Over time, John became more confident and engaged, and the entire team benefited from his renewed energy. This story highlights how active listening can transform relationships and foster collaboration. The ripple effect of listening. When you listen actively, you not only strengthen your connection with the speaker but also gain valuable insights that can inform your decisions and actions. As Oprah Winfrey once said, "I remind myself every morning, nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must do it by listening." Now that we've explored the importance of active listening, let's move on to another critical aspect of communication: nonverbal cues. 2. Nonverbal communication. While words carry meaning, our nonverbal signals often speak louder. In fact, studies show that up to 93% of communication is nonverbal, encompassing body language, facial expressions, gestures, posture, and tone of voice. Understanding body language. Body language is a universal language. It transcends cultures and conveys emotions even when words fail. For example, crossed arms might signal defensiveness, while leaning in suggests interest and engagement. To improve your nonverbal communication, start by becoming aware of your own body language. Are you slouching during conversations? Are your arms crossed, creating a barrier between you and the other person? Small adjustments, like sitting up straight or uncrossing your arms, can make a big difference in how approachable and confident you appear. Facial expressions and eye contact. Your face is a canvas that reflects your emotions. A genuine smile can instantly put someone at ease, while furrowed brows might indicate concern or confusion. Similarly, maintaining appropriate eye contact shows respect and attentiveness. However, be mindful of cultural differences. In some cultures, prolonged eye contact can be seen as confrontational, so adapt accordingly based on context. The power of tone of voice. Your tone of voice can completely change the meaning of your words. For instance, saying "that's interesting" with enthusiasm conveys curiosity, while saying it flatly might come across as sarcasm. To refine your tone, record yourself speaking and listen critically. Are you sounding monotone, rushed, or overly aggressive? Practice varying your pitch, pace, and volume to match the mood and purpose of your message. A story about nonverbal cues. Let me share a quick anecdote about the impact of nonverbal communication. During a leadership workshop I conducted, a participant named Sarah struggled to command attention during group discussions. Despite having insightful ideas, her soft voice and fidgety movements made it hard for others to take her seriously. Together, we worked on improving her nonverbal presence. We practiced standing tall, making deliberate hand gestures, and speaking with conviction. Within weeks, Sarah noticed a dramatic shift. Not only did people listen more intently, but she also felt more confident expressing herself. This transformation underscores the importance of aligning your verbal and nonverbal messages. As Albert Mehrabian, a pioneer in nonverbal communication research, noted, "People may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel." Tips for mastering nonverbal communication. Here are a few actionable tips to enhance your nonverbal skills. 1. Mirror the other person. Subtly mimicking the other person's gestures or posture can create rapport and trust. 2. Use open gestures. Keep your palms visible and avoid pointing, which can seem aggressive. 3. Be mindful of personal space. Respect cultural norms around physical proximity to avoid discomfort. 3. Effective verbal communication. Verbal communication is the cornerstone of human interaction. It's how we express our thoughts, share ideas, and connect with others. But speaking effectively isn't just about stringing words together. It's about choosing the right words, delivering them with clarity, and ensuring they resonate with your audience. In this section, we'll explore techniques to enhance your verbal communication skills, from structuring your message to using persuasive language that inspires action. Structuring your message. One of the biggest mistakes people make when communicating is jumping straight into details without providing context. This can leave listeners confused or disengaged. Instead, use a simple framework to structure your message. 1. Start with the big picture. Begin by sharing the overall purpose or main idea. For example, today, I want to discuss how we can improve team collaboration. 2. Provide supporting details. Break down your main idea into key points or examples. 3. End with a call to action. Conclude by summarizing your message and suggesting next steps. For instance, let's implement these strategies starting next week and evaluate their impact in a month. This structure ensures your message is clear, concise, and easy to follow. Using persuasive language. Persuasion is an art, and mastering it can help you influence others and achieve your goals. Here are some tips for using persuasive language effectively. 1. Appeal to emotions. People are more likely to respond to messages that evoke feelings. Use stories, metaphors, or vivid imagery to create an emotional connection. 2. Highlight benefits over features. Instead of focusing on what something is, emphasize what it does for the listener. For example, instead of saying, "This software has advanced analytics," say, "This software will save you hours of manual work and provide insights to grow your business." 3. Use positive framing. Frame your message in a way that highlights opportunities rather than problems. For instance, instead of saying, "We're behind schedule," say, "Let's focus on how we can accelerate progress and meet our goals." Speaking with confidence. Confidence in verbal communication comes from preparation and practice. Here's how to project confidence when you speak. 1. Pause strategically. Pausing not only gives you time to think but also adds weight to your words. It signals that you're deliberate and thoughtful. 2. Speak slowly and clearly. Rushing makes you sound nervous and harder to understand. Slow down, enunciate your words, and take breaths as needed. 3. Vary your tone and pace. Monotony can bore your audience. Use variations in tone and pace to emphasize key points and maintain engagement. A story about persuasive communication. Let me share a story about the power of effective verbal communication. A sales executive named Michael was struggling to close deals despite having a great product. His pitches were technically sound but lacked emotional appeal. After analyzing his approach, Michael realized he was focusing too much on features and not enough on benefits. He revamped his pitch to tell a story about how his product had transformed other businesses, highlighting real-world success stories. He also practiced speaking with enthusiasm and varying his tone to keep prospects engaged. The results were remarkable. Within months, Michael doubled his sales numbers and became one of the top performers in his company. His success proved that how you say something is just as important as what you say. Practical exercises for verbal communication. Here are 3 exercises to sharpen your verbal skills. 1. Record yourself speaking. Choose a topic you're passionate about, record yourself talking for 2 to 3 minutes, and listen to identify areas for improvement. Pay attention to filler words like pacing and clarity. 2. Practice storytelling. Share a personal story with a friend or family member, focusing on creating an emotional connection. Use descriptive language and vary your tone to keep them engaged. 3. Role-play conversations. Simulate challenging conversations, such as negotiating a raise or resolving a conflict, with a partner. Practice articulating your points clearly and confidently. As Winston Churchill once said, those that failed to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. In the same vein, those who fail to communicate effectively risk missing out on opportunities for growth and connection. Now that we've covered active listening, nonverbal communication, and effective verbal communication, let's move on to handling difficult conversations, a skill that's essential for navigating life's challenges. 4. Handling difficult conversations. Difficult conversations are an inevitable part of life. Whether it's addressing a conflict at work, discussing sensitive topics with loved ones, or giving constructive feedback, these moments can be uncomfortable, but they're also opportunities for growth and resolution. The key to handling difficult conversations lies in preparation, empathy, and a willingness to find common ground. Let's break it down step by step. Step 1. Prepare ahead of time. Before entering a tough conversation, take time to organize your thoughts. Ask yourself, what is the goal of this conversation? What emotions might arise, and how can I manage them? What outcome would be ideal for both parties? Preparation helps you stay focused and prevents the discussion from escalating into an argument. Step 2. Start with empathy. Empathy is the bridge that connects two people, even in the midst of disagreement. Begin the conversation by acknowledging the other person's perspective. For example, I understand this situation has been frustrating for you, and I appreciate your patience while we work through it. By validating their feelings, you create a foundation of trust and openness. Step 3. Stay calm and composed. Emotions can run high during difficult conversations, but losing your cool will only make things worse. If you feel yourself getting upset, take a deep breath and pause before responding. Remember, the goal is to resolve the issue, not win the argument. As Viktor Frankl, a renowned psychiatrist, once said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Use that space wisely. Step 4. Focus on solutions, not blame. Instead of dwelling on who's at fault, shift the conversation toward finding solutions. Use collaborative language like how can we address this together, or what steps can we take to move forward. This approach fosters teamwork and minimizes defensiveness. Step 5. End on a positive note. Even if the conversation doesn't go perfectly, ending on a positive note sets the stage for future interactions. Thank the other person for their time and effort, and reaffirm your commitment to resolving the issue. For example, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk this through. Let's continue working together to find a solution that works for everyone. A real-life example of handling conflict. Let me share a story about turning a difficult conversation into a breakthrough. A manager named Rachel had to address a performance issue with one of her employees, Alex. Instead of confronting him angrily, Rachel approached the situation with empathy and professionalism. She started by acknowledging Alex's strengths and contributions to the team, then gently brought up the areas needing improvement. Together, they created a plan to address the gaps, including additional training and regular check-ins. The result? Not only did Alex's performance improve significantly, but their relationship grew stronger as well. Rachel's approach demonstrated that difficult conversations, when handled with care, can lead to positive outcomes. Tips for mastering difficult conversations. Here are some actionable tips to navigate tough discussions. 1. Choose the right time and place. Avoid addressing sensitive issues in public or when emotions are running high. Opt for a private, neutral setting where both parties feel comfortable. 2. Listen actively. Give the other person space to express their thoughts without interrupting. 3. Stay solution-oriented. Keep the focus on resolving the issue rather than assigning blame. Now that we've explored the art of handling difficult conversations, let's pause and reflect. Which technique resonates most with you? How can you apply these strategies to improve your communication skills? 5. The role of communication in building trust and influence. Communication isn't just about exchanging information, it's about building trust, fostering relationships, and influencing others. In this final section, we'll explore how mastering communication skills can help you become a trusted leader, a valued team member, and a person others naturally gravitate toward. Building trust through communication. Trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, whether personal or professional. And trust begins with communication. When you communicate openly, honestly, and consistently, you signal to others that they can rely on you. Here are 3 ways to build trust through communication. 1. Be transparent. Share information openly and avoid withholding key details. Transparency shows that you respect others' right to know and value their input. 2. Follow through on promises. Words alone aren't enough. Your actions must align with what you say. If you commit to something, deliver on it. This consistency reinforces your credibility. 3. Admit mistakes. No one is perfect, and pretending otherwise only erodes trust. When you make a mistake, own up to it and explain how you plan to fix it. Vulnerability builds authenticity. As Warren Buffett once said, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. Every interaction you have is an opportunity to strengthen, or weaken, the trust others place in you. Influencing others through communication. Influence isn't about manipulation. It's about inspiring others to see your perspective and take action. Effective communicators use their skills to motivate, persuade, and lead. Here's how you can enhance your ability to influence others. 1. Know your audience. Tailor your message to resonate with the values, needs, and priorities of your audience. For example, if you're speaking to a group of executives, focus on data-driven insights and ROI. If you're addressing a creative team, emphasize innovation and collaboration. 2. Use stories to connect. People remember stories far better than facts or figures. Craft compelling narratives that illustrate your points and evoke emotion. 3. Leverage nonverbal cues. As we discussed earlier, your body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions play a crucial role in reinforcing your message. Align them with your words to project confidence and sincerity. A story about influence through communication. Let me share a story about the power of influence through effective communication. A community organizer named James was tasked with rallying support for a local environmental initiative. At first, many residents were skeptical. They didn't see how their individual efforts could make a difference. Instead of bombarding them with statistics, James shared a heartfelt story about his childhood growing up near a polluted river. He described how cleaning up the area had transformed not only the environment but also the lives of those who lived nearby. His passion and authenticity inspired others to join the cause, and within months, the initiative gained widespread support. This story highlights how storytelling and emotional connection can turn skeptics into advocates. The ripple effect of strong communication skills. When you master communication, the benefits extend far beyond individual interactions. You inspire trust, foster collaboration, and create environments where people feel valued and heard. Over time, these qualities position you as a leader, someone others look to for guidance and inspiration. As John C. Maxwell, a leadership expert, puts it, leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another. Communication is the vehicle through which that influence happens. 6. Wrapping up Chapter 3. We've covered a lot of ground in this chapter. From active listening and nonverbal communication to verbal skills and handling difficult conversations. Let's recap the key takeaways. 1. Active listening builds connection. By giving your full attention and responding thoughtfully, you create a safe space for open dialogue and deeper understanding. 2. Nonverbal cues speak volumes. Your body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice often communicate more than your words. Align them to reinforce your message. 3. Effective verbal communication inspires action. Structure your message, use persuasive language, and speak with clarity and confidence to engage your audience. 4. Difficult conversations are opportunities. Approach tough discussions with empathy, preparation, and a focus on solutions to turn challenges into breakthroughs. 5. Trust and influence are built through communication. Be transparent, follow through on promises, and use storytelling to inspire others and build lasting relationships. Remember, communication is a skill that improves with practice. Start small, listen more attentively, pay attention to your body language, or rehearse a presentation, and gradually incorporate these techniques into your daily interactions. Before we move on to Chapter 4, I want to leave you with this inspiring quote from George Bernard Shaw. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. True communication requires effort, awareness, and intentionality. Chapter 4. Building Strong Relationships. In this chapter, we'll explore one of the most rewarding aspects of emotional intelligence and social skills, building strong relationships. Relationships are the foundation of a fulfilling life. Whether it's with family, friends, colleagues, or romantic partners, the quality of your relationships directly impacts your happiness, success, and overall well-being. But here's the truth: strong relationships don't just happen, they're built through trust, empathy, and consistent effort. In this chapter, we'll dive into 3 key areas. 1. The foundation of trust, how to create and maintain trust in any relationship. 2. Empathy in relationships, the role of empathy in fostering deeper connections. 3. Conflict resolution strategies, techniques to handle disagreements constructively and preserve relationships. By the end of this chapter, you'll have practical tools to nurture your existing relationships and build new ones that enrich your life. So, let's get started. 1. The foundation of trust. Trust is the cornerstone of every meaningful relationship. Without trust, even the strongest bonds can crumble. But what exactly is trust, and how do you build it? What is trust? At its core, trust is the belief that someone will act in your best interest, even when no one is watching. It's about reliability, honesty, and consistency. When you trust someone, you feel safe sharing your thoughts, feelings, and vulnerabilities without fear of judgment or betrayal. As Ernest Hemingway once said, the best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. While this might sound counterintuitive, it highlights an important truth: trust requires risk. You have to give trust before you can receive it. How to build trust. Building trust isn't something that happens overnight. It's a gradual process that requires intentionality and effort. Here are 5 key strategies to help you establish and maintain trust. 1. Be honest and transparent. Honesty is the bedrock of trust. If you make a mistake, own up to it instead of hiding or deflecting blame. Transparency shows that you value openness and integrity. For example, imagine you're leading a team project, and a deadline is missed. Instead of blaming external factors, acknowledge the issue and explain how you plan to address it. This approach not only builds trust but also demonstrates accountability. 2. Follow through on promises. If you say you'll do something, do it, no matter how small. Consistency in action reinforces your reliability and shows others they can count on you. 3. Communicate openly. Effective communication is essential for building trust. Share information openly, listen actively, and avoid making assumptions. When misunderstandings arise, address them promptly and respectfully. 4. Show vulnerability. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, but it's actually a strength. By sharing your struggles, fears, or imperfections, you invite others to do the same, creating a deeper sense of connection. 5. Respect boundaries. Everyone has limits, and respecting those boundaries is crucial for maintaining trust. Whether it's giving someone space during a tough time or honoring their preferences, showing respect fosters mutual understanding. A story about building trust. Let me share a story to illustrate the power of trust. A young entrepreneur named Alex was struggling to gain traction for his startup. Investors were hesitant to back him because he lacked a proven track record. Instead of trying to impress them with flashy presentations, Alex focused on building genuine relationships. He shared his vision honestly, admitted the challenges he faced, and followed through on every commitment he made. Over time, investors began to see him as trustworthy and invested not just in his business but in him as a person. This story underscores the importance of authenticity and consistency in building trust. The ripple effect of trust. When you build trust, you create a positive feedback loop. People who trust you are more likely to support you, collaborate with you, and recommend you to others. As Stephen M. Covey, author of The Speed of Trust, explains, when trust goes up, speed goes up and costs go down. In other words, trust accelerates progress and reduces friction in all areas of life. Now that we've explored the foundation of trust, let's move on to another critical element of strong relationships: empathy. 2. Empathy in relationships. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's what allows us to connect deeply with people, whether it's a friend going through a tough time or a colleague facing a challenging project. Why empathy matters. Empathy is more than just a soft skill, it's a superpower. When you empathize with someone, you validate their emotions and show them they're not alone. This creates a sense of belonging and strengthens the bond between you. As Maya Angelou famously said, "I think we all have empathy. We may not have enough courage to display it." Empathy requires vulnerability and courage, but the rewards are immense. How to practice empathy. Here are 5 practical ways to cultivate empathy in your relationships. 1. Listen without judgment. When someone shares their feelings, resist the urge to offer advice or solutions immediately. Instead, listen attentively and acknowledge their emotions. For example, say, "That sounds really difficult. I'm here for you." 2. Put yourself in their shoes. Try to imagine how the other person is feeling from their perspective. What might they be thinking? What fears or hopes are driving their behavior? 3. Ask thoughtful questions. Questions like, "How did that make you feel?" or "What can I do to support you?" encourage the other person to open up and deepen the conversation. 4. Validate their emotions. Even if you don't agree with someone's perspective, you can still validate their feelings. For instance, say, "I understand why you'd feel that way given the circumstances." 5. Practice self-empathy. Before you can truly empathize with others, you need to be kind to yourself. Recognize your own emotions and give yourself permission to feel them without guilt or shame. A story about empathy in action. Let me share a story about the transformative power of empathy. A manager named Sarah noticed that one of her employees, Mark, seemed unusually withdrawn. Instead of ignoring it or assuming he was just having a bad day, Sarah decided to check in with him privately. She started by asking, "How are you doing? I've noticed you seem quieter than usual lately." At first, Mark hesitated, but Sarah's genuine concern encouraged him to open up. He revealed that he was dealing with some personal challenges outside of work. Sarah didn't try to fix his problems. Instead, she listened empathetically and offered flexibility in his workload. This simple act of understanding not only helped Mark regain his focus but also strengthened their professional relationship. This story highlights how empathy can turn moments of struggle into opportunities for connection. The benefits of empathy. When you practice empathy, you not only strengthen your relationships but also enhance your emotional intelligence. Empathy helps you navigate conflicts, resolve misunderstandings, and foster a culture of compassion. As Brené Brown, a researcher on vulnerability and empathy, puts it, empathy fuels connection, while sympathy drives disconnection. Choosing empathy over sympathy creates bridges instead of barriers. Now that we've explored the role of empathy, let's transition to the final section of this part, conflict resolution strategies. 3. Conflict resolution strategies. Conflict is an inevitable part of any relationship. Whether it's a disagreement with a loved one, a clash of opinions at work, or a misunderstanding with a friend, conflicts are bound to arise. But here's the good news: conflict itself isn't the problem. It's how we handle it that determines whether it strengthens or weakens a relationship. In this section, we'll explore practical strategies for resolving conflicts constructively, preserving trust, and fostering mutual understanding. Why conflict happens. Conflict occurs when two or more people have differing needs, values, or perspectives. It's not inherently bad. In fact, healthy conflict can lead to growth, innovation, and deeper connections. The key is to approach disagreements with a mindset of collaboration rather than competition. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, "An eye for an eye will only make the whole world blind." When we react defensively or aggressively during conflicts, we escalate tensions and damage relationships. Instead, focus on finding solutions that benefit everyone involved. Steps to resolve conflicts effectively. Here's a step-by-step guide to handling conflicts in a way that preserves and even strengthens your relationships. 1. Stay calm and composed. Emotions can run high during conflicts, but losing your temper will only make things worse. Take a deep breath, pause if needed, and approach the situation with a calm demeanor. For example, if you're in the middle of a heated argument, say, "I need a moment to collect my thoughts. Can we take a short break and revisit this conversation?" This gives both parties time to cool down and think clearly. 2. Listen actively. Before jumping to conclusions or defending your position, listen carefully to the other person's perspective. Ask clarifying questions like, "Can you help me understand why this is important to you?" Active listening shows respect and creates a safe space for open dialogue. It also helps you identify the root cause of the conflict, which might be different from what initially appears on the surface. 3. Acknowledge their feelings. Even if you don't agree with someone's viewpoint, acknowledging their emotions can go a long way in de-escalating tension. For instance, say, "I hear that you're frustrated, and I want to understand where you're coming from." This simple act of validation can disarm defensiveness and pave the way for productive discussion. 4. Focus on interests, not positions. Instead of fixating on who's right or wrong, focus on the underlying interests driving each person's stance. For example, if two team members disagree about a project deadline, their positions might seem incompatible. However, by exploring their interests, such as quality versus efficiency, you can often find common ground. 5. Collaborate on solutions. Work together to brainstorm solutions that address both parties' needs. Use phrases like, "What if we tried this approach?" or "How can we meet halfway?" Collaboration fosters teamwork and ensures that everyone feels heard and valued. 6. Agree on next steps. Once you've reached a resolution, clarify the agreed-upon actions and responsibilities. For example, say, "To move forward, I'll handle X, and you'll take care of Y. Let's check in next week to see how things are progressing." Clear follow-ups prevent misunderstandings and ensure accountability. A story about resolving conflict. Let me share a story about turning conflict into collaboration. A married couple, Lisa and John, were constantly arguing about household chores. Lisa felt overwhelmed because she believed John wasn't pulling his weight, while John felt unappreciated despite his efforts. Instead of continuing the blame game, they decided to sit down and have an honest conversation. They started by sharing their feelings without interrupting each other. Lisa expressed her stress, and John shared his frustration about feeling undervalued. Together, they created a chore schedule that balanced their strengths and preferences. More importantly, they agreed to regularly check in with each other to ensure the system was working. Over time, their arguments decreased, and their partnership grew stronger. This story demonstrates how addressing conflicts with empathy and collaboration can transform strained relationships into sources of support and joy. Tips for mastering conflict resolution. Here are some actionable tips to navigate conflicts effectively. 1. Choose the right time and place. Avoid discussing sensitive issues in public or when emotions are running high. Opt for a private, neutral setting where both parties feel comfortable. 2. Use I statements. Frame your concerns in terms of your own feelings rather than blaming the other person. For example, say, "I feel stressed when deadlines are missed," instead of, "You never meet deadlines." 3. Stay solution-oriented. Keep the focus on resolving the issue rather than assigning blame. Now that we've explored conflict resolution strategies, let's transition to the role of communication in maintaining strong relationships over time. 4. Maintaining strong relationships over time. Building strong relationships is just the beginning. The real challenge lies in maintaining them over time. Life is dynamic, and relationships require ongoing effort to stay healthy and fulfilling. In this section, we'll discuss how to nurture your relationships through consistent communication, mutual respect, and shared experiences. The importance of consistency. Consistency is key to sustaining trust and connection. People need to know they can rely on you, whether it's showing up for important events, keeping promises, or simply checking in regularly. For example, imagine you have a close friend who's going through a tough time. Sending a quick text every few days to check in shows that you care and are thinking of them, even if you can't meet in person. Small gestures like this reinforce the bond between you. Communicating regularly. Regular communication doesn't mean constant interaction. It means staying connected in meaningful ways. Here are some tips for maintaining consistent communication. 1. Schedule quality time. Whether it's a weekly coffee date with a friend or a monthly family dinner, set aside dedicated time to connect. 2. Be present during interactions. When you're spending time with someone, give them your full attention. Put away distractions like your phone and focus on the moment. 3. Express appreciation. Don't assume others know how much you value them. Regularly express gratitude for their presence in your life. For example, say, "I really appreciate having you as a friend. You always know how to make me smile." Mutual respect and boundaries. Every relationship thrives on mutual respect. This means honoring each other's boundaries, supporting individual growth, and celebrating differences. For instance, if a colleague prefers not to discuss personal matters at work, respect their preference. Similarly, if a friend needs space after a busy week, Give them room to recharge without taking it personally. Respecting boundaries doesn't mean distancing yourself. It means creating a safe environment where both parties feel comfortable being themselves. Creating shared experiences. Shared experiences are the glue that holds relationships together. Whether it's traveling together, working on a project, or simply laughing over a meal, these moments create lasting memories and deepen your connection. During the pandemic, many people found creative ways to stay connected despite physical distance. Virtual game nights, online book clubs, and video calls became lifelines for maintaining relationships. These examples remind us that shared experiences don't have to be grand, they just need to be meaningful. A story about maintaining relationships. Let me share a story about the power of consistency in relationships. A woman named Maria had a lifelong friendship with her college roommate, Anna. Over the years, their lives took different paths. Maria moved abroad for work, while Anna stayed in their hometown. Despite the distance, they made a pact to talk every Sunday evening, no matter what. These weekly calls became a cherished ritual. They shared updates, laughed about old memories, and supported each other through life's ups and downs. Even when they couldn't meet in person, their bond remained as strong as ever. This story highlights how small, consistent efforts can sustain relationships across time and distance. The long-term benefits of strong relationships. When you invest in your relationships, the rewards extend far beyond emotional fulfillment. Studies show that strong social connections improve mental health, boost resilience, and even increase longevity. As Helen Keller once said, walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in the light. Now that we've explored how to maintain strong relationships, let's pause and reflect. Which strategy resonates most with you? How can you apply these insights to nurture your own relationships? Stay tuned for the final section of this chapter, where we'll wrap up everything we've learned and prepare you for the next steps in your journey. 5. The transformative power of strong relationships. Strong relationships are more than just a source of joy, they're a catalyst for personal growth, resilience, and fulfillment. In this final section, we'll explore how nurturing meaningful connections can transform your life and help you become the best version of yourself. Relationships as a source of strength. Think about the people who matter most to you, your family, friends, mentors, or colleagues. These individuals don't just enrich your life, they also provide a support system that helps you navigate challenges and celebrate successes. When you surround yourself with positive, supportive people, you create an environment where growth thrives. They encourage you to take risks, offer guidance when you're unsure, and remind you of your worth when self-doubt creeps in. As Jim Rohn, a renowned motivational speaker, famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." This highlights the profound impact relationships have on shaping your mindset, habits, and ultimately your destiny. How relationships fuel personal growth. Strong relationships challenge you to step outside your comfort zone and embrace new perspectives. For example, a mentor might push you to pursue opportunities you wouldn't have considered on your own. A close friend might call out behaviors holding you back, helping you grow emotionally and mentally. Let me share a story to illustrate this point. A young professional named Emily was hesitant to apply for a leadership role at her company because she doubted her abilities. Her manager, sensing her potential, encouraged her to take the leap. He offered constructive feedback, connected her with resources to build her skills, and celebrated her progress along the way. With his support, Emily not only secured the promotion but also discovered a newfound confidence in her capabilities. This experience transformed her career trajectory and deepened her appreciation for the power of mentorship. The role of gratitude in strengthening bonds. Gratitude is a powerful tool for strengthening relationships. When you express appreciation for others, you reinforce their value in your life and inspire reciprocity. Here's how to practice gratitude in your relationships. 1. Say thank you often. Don't wait for special occasions to express gratitude. A simple thank you for being there can mean the world to someone. 2. Write notes of appreciation. Handwritten notes or heartfelt messages stand out in today's digital age. Take time to write a letter thanking someone for their impact on your life. 3. Acknowledge efforts, big and small, whether it's a colleague staying late to finish a project or a partner cooking dinner after a long day. Recognize the effort behind the action. By cultivating gratitude, you create a culture of positivity that strengthens your relationships and fosters mutual respect. The ripple effect of strong relationships. When you invest in building strong relationships, the benefits extend far beyond your immediate circle. Your connections inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of kindness, trust, and collaboration. For example, imagine a workplace where employees genuinely care about each other's well-being. This sense of community boosts morale, enhances productivity, and attracts top talent. Similarly, families that prioritize open communication and empathy raise children who grow into compassionate, confident adults. As Dalai Lama once said, our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can help them, at least don't hurt them. Strong relationships embody this philosophy. They uplift, empower, and heal. 6. Wrapping up Chapter 4. We've covered a lot of ground in this chapter, from building trust and practicing empathy to resolving conflicts and maintaining relationships over time. Let's recap the key takeaways. 1. Trust is the foundation. Be honest, reliable, and vulnerable to create and sustain trust in your relationships. 2. Empathy fosters connection. Put yourself in others' shoes, listen actively, and validate their emotions to deepen your bonds. 3. Conflict can be constructive. Approach disagreements with calmness, collaboration, and a focus on solutions to preserve relationships. 4. Consistency matters. Stay connected through regular communication, mutual respect, and shared experiences. 5. Gratitude strengthens bonds. Express appreciation often to reinforce the value others bring to your life. Remember, relationships are a two-way street. They require effort, patience, and intentionality from both sides. Start small. Reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while, listen more attentively during conversations, or express gratitude for the people in your life. Over time, these actions will yield profound results. Before we move on to Chapter 5, I want to leave you with this inspiring quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson: "The only way to have a friend is to be one." Building strong relationships begins with being the kind of person others want to connect with, someone who listens, cares, and shows up consistently. Chapter 5. Applying EQ in Real Life. In this chapter, we'll take everything we've learned about emotional intelligence and apply it to real-life scenarios. This is where theory meets practice, the moment you transform knowledge into action. Emotional intelligence isn't just a concept to study, it's a skill to live by. Whether you're navigating workplace dynamics, strengthening personal relationships, or pursuing personal growth, EQ provides the tools you need to thrive. In this chapter, we'll explore 3 key areas where EQ makes a tangible difference. 1. EQ in the workplace. How to use emotional intelligence to lead, collaborate, and succeed professionally. 2. EQ in personal relationships. Strategies for applying EQ to deepen connections with loved ones. 3. EQ for personal growth. Techniques to harness EQ for self-improvement and lifelong fulfillment. By the end of this chapter, you'll have actionable insights to integrate EQ into every aspect of your life. So, let's dive in. 1. EQ in the workplace. The modern workplace is more than just a place to earn a living. It's a dynamic ecosystem where emotions, relationships, and collaboration play a critical role. Emotional intelligence is the secret ingredient that separates exceptional professionals from average ones. Why EQ matters at work. While technical skills and expertise are essential, they're not enough to guarantee success. Studies show that 90% of top performers in the workplace possess high emotional intelligence. Why? Because EQ enables you to navigate challenges, build strong teams, and foster a positive work culture. As Daniel Goleman, the pioneer of EQ research, explains, the most effective leaders are alike in one crucial way: they all have a high degree of emotional intelligence. Whether you're leading a team, managing clients, or collaborating with colleagues, EQ helps you connect, inspire, and achieve results. Key applications of EQ in the workplace. Here are 5 ways to apply emotional intelligence in your professional life. 1. Self-awareness for better decision-making. Understanding your emotions allows you to make decisions based on logic rather than impulse. For example, if you're feeling frustrated during a meeting, pause and ask yourself why before reacting. This prevents unnecessary conflicts and ensures your responses are thoughtful and constructive. 2. Empathy for team collaboration. Empathy is the cornerstone of teamwork. When you understand your colleagues' perspectives, you can anticipate their needs, address concerns, and create an inclusive environment. For instance, imagine a team member struggling to meet a deadline. Instead of criticizing them, approach the situation with empathy. I notice you're under pressure. How can I support you? This fosters trust and encourages open communication. 3. Conflict resolution skills. Workplace conflicts are inevitable, but EQ equips you to handle them effectively. Use active listening, validate others' feelings, and focus on finding solutions that benefit everyone involved. 4. Adaptability and change. Change is constant in today's fast-paced world. EQ helps you remain flexible and resilient, even in uncertain times. By managing stress and staying optimistic, you inspire confidence in those around you. 5. Leadership through influence. Great leaders don't rely on authority, they lead through influence. By demonstrating empathy, integrity, and emotional regulation, you earn the respect and loyalty of your team. A story about EQ in leadership. Let me share a story about the transformative power of EQ in leadership. A manager named Sarah was tasked with turning around a struggling department. Morale was low, productivity was declining, and tensions among team members were high. Instead of focusing solely on metrics and performance reviews, Sarah prioritized building relationships. She held one-on-one meetings to understand each team member's strengths, challenges, and aspirations. She encouraged open dialogue during team meetings and celebrated small wins to boost morale. Over time, the department transformed. Productivity soared, collaboration improved, and employees reported higher job satisfaction. Sarah's success wasn't due to technical expertise. It was her ability to connect with people and lead with emotional intelligence. Tips for applying EQ at work. Here are some actionable tips to enhance your EQ in the workplace. 1. Practice active listening. Pay attention to what others say without interrupting or jumping to conclusions. 2. Manage stress effectively. Use techniques like deep breathing or mindfulness to stay calm under pressure. 3. Seek feedback regularly. Ask colleagues for input on how you can improve your communication and collaboration skills. Now that we've explored EQ in the workplace, let's move on to its application in personal relationships. Underscore 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 underscore. 2. EQ in personal relationships. Personal relationships, whether with family, friends, or romantic partners, are the foundation of a fulfilling life. Emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in nurturing these connections and ensuring they remain healthy and meaningful. The role of EQ in personal relationships. EQ helps you navigate the complexities of human emotions, resolve conflicts constructively, and create a sense of belonging. It's what allows you to truly understand and support the people you care about. As Brené Brown, a researcher on vulnerability and connection, puts it, connection is why we're here. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. EQ is the bridge that facilitates deeper, more authentic connections. Key applications of EQ in personal relationships. Here are 5 ways to apply emotional intelligence in your personal life. 1. Active listening to strengthen bonds. When someone shares their thoughts or feelings, listen attentively without interrupting. Show empathy by saying, "That sounds really tough. I'm here for you." 2. Managing emotions during conflicts. Conflicts are inevitable, but EQ helps you handle them gracefully. Instead of reacting impulsively, Pause and reflect before responding. Focus on understanding the other person's perspective and finding common ground. 3. Expressing appreciation regularly. People need to feel valued and appreciated. Take time to express gratitude for the little things your loved ones do. For example, say, "Thank you for always making me laugh. You brighten my day." 4. Setting healthy boundaries. Boundaries are essential for maintaining balance and preventing resentment. Communicate your needs clearly and respectfully, and honor the boundaries of others. 5. Being present in the moment. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get distracted. Make a conscious effort to be fully present when spending time with loved ones. Put away your phone, maintain eye contact, and engage in meaningful conversations. A story about EQ in action. Let me share a story about the power of EQ in personal relationships. A couple, Mark and Lisa, were struggling with frequent arguments. They both felt unheard and misunderstood, leading to growing resentment. Determined to save their relationship, they decided to approach conflicts differently. Instead of blaming each other, they practiced active listening and empathy. During disagreements, they took turns sharing their feelings without interruption. Afterward, they summarized what the other person said to ensure mutual understanding. This simple shift transformed their dynamic. Over time, their arguments became less frequent, and their bond grew stronger. By applying EQ principles, they created a relationship built on trust, respect, and open communication. Tips for enhancing EQ in personal relationships. Here are some actionable tips to strengthen your personal connections. 1. Schedule quality time. Dedicate regular time to nurture your relationships, whether it's a weekly date night or a daily check-in. 2. Practice self-reflection. Reflect on your own emotions and behaviors to identify areas for improvement. 3. Celebrate milestones together. Acknowledge birthdays, anniversaries, and other significant moments to show you care. Now that we've explored EQ in personal relationships, let's transition to its role in personal growth. 3. EQ for personal growth. Emotional intelligence isn't just about improving your relationships with others. It's also a powerful tool for personal growth. By developing your EQ, you can unlock your full potential, achieve your goals, and lead a more fulfilling life. Why EQ matters for personal growth. Personal growth is the process of becoming the best version of yourself. It involves self-awareness, resilience, and a commitment to continuous learning. EQ provides the foundation for all these elements, helping you navigate challenges, embrace change, and cultivate inner peace. As Aristotle once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. EQ starts with self-awareness, the ability to recognize and understand your emotions, strengths, weaknesses, and motivations. From there, you can take intentional steps toward growth. Key applications of EQ for personal growth. Here are 5 ways to apply emotional intelligence to enhance your personal development. 1. Self-awareness for clarity and direction. Understanding your emotions and triggers allows you to make decisions aligned with your values and goals. For example, if you notice that certain situations consistently cause stress or frustration, you can take proactive steps to address them. Journaling is an excellent tool for increasing self-awareness. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day reflecting on your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Ask yourself, what went well today? What could I have handled differently? What did I learn about myself? 2. Self-regulation for emotional balance. Life is full of ups and downs, but EQ helps you stay grounded during turbulent times. By practicing self-regulation, you can manage stress, control impulses, and maintain a positive outlook. For instance, if you're feeling overwhelmed by a heavy workload, take a step back and prioritize tasks. Use techniques like mindfulness meditation or deep breathing to calm your mind and regain focus. 3. Empathy for self-compassion. Empathy isn't just for understanding others. It's also essential for being kind to yourself. When you make mistakes or face setbacks, practice self-compassion instead of self-criticism. Remind yourself that imperfection is part of being human. As Kristen Neff, a pioneer in self-compassion research, explains, instead of mercilessly judging and criticizing yourself for various inadequacies or shortcomings. Self-compassion means you are kind and understanding when confronted with personal failings. 4. Motivation for goal achievement. EQ fuels intrinsic motivation, the drive to pursue goals for personal satisfaction rather than external rewards. When you're emotionally intelligent, you set meaningful goals, stay focused despite obstacles, and celebrate progress along the way. Break your goals into smaller, manageable steps to maintain momentum. For example, if you want to improve your fitness, start with daily walks before progressing to more intense workouts. Each small win reinforces your motivation. 5. Social skills for networking and mentorship. Building strong social skills opens doors to opportunities and support systems that accelerate your growth. Surround yourself with mentors, peers, and communities that inspire and challenge you. Attend workshops, join online forums, or participate in local events to expand your network. When meeting new people, focus on building genuine connections rather than transactional relationships. A story about EQ and personal growth. Let me share a story about the transformative power of EQ in personal growth. A young professional named Alex struggled with low confidence and frequent burnout. Despite his talent and hard work, he felt stuck and unfulfilled. Determined to change, Alex began focusing on his emotional intelligence. He started journaling to better understand his emotions and triggers. He practiced mindfulness to manage stress and regulate his reactions. He also sought feedback from colleagues and mentors to identify areas for improvement. Over time, Alex noticed significant changes. He became more resilient, adaptable, and confident. He took on new challenges at work, pursued hobbies he had neglected, and built stronger relationships with friends and family. By applying EQ principles, Alex transformed not only his career but also his overall quality of life. Tips for applying EQ to personal growth. Here are some actionable tips to enhance your EQ for personal development. 1. Set intentions daily. Start each day by setting an intention, such as staying calm under pressure or practicing gratitude. 2. Seek feedback regularly. Ask trusted friends, family members, or mentors for constructive feedback on your behavior and communication style. 3. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge and reward yourself for progress, no matter how minor it may seem. Now that we've explored EQ for personal growth, let's transition to the role of EQ in overcoming adversity, a critical aspect of real-life application. 4. Using EQ to overcome adversity. Life is unpredictable, and adversity is inevitable. Whether it's a career setback, a health challenge, or a personal loss, difficult times test our resilience and strength. Emotional intelligence equips us with the tools to face adversity head-on and emerge stronger than before. The role of EQ in overcoming adversity. Adversity often triggers intense emotions, fear, anger, sadness, or frustration. Without EQ, it's easy to become overwhelmed and lose perspective. But with emotional intelligence, you can navigate these emotions constructively, find meaning in hardship, and turn challenges into opportunities for growth. As Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, famously said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." EQ empowers you to adapt, persevere, and thrive even in the face of adversity. Key strategies for using EQ to overcome adversity. Here are 5 strategies to leverage emotional intelligence during tough times. 1. Acknowledge your emotions. Suppressing or denying your feelings only prolongs suffering. Instead, acknowledge them openly and give yourself permission to process them. Journaling, talking to a trusted friend, or seeking therapy can help you work through difficult emotions. 2. Reframe negative thoughts. Adversity often leads to negative thinking patterns, such as catastrophizing or self-blame. Use cognitive reframing to challenge these thoughts and focus on solutions. For example, instead of thinking, "This is impossible," reframe it as, "This is challenging, but I'll find a way forward." 3. Build a support system. You don't have to face adversity alone. Reach out to friends, family, or support groups for encouragement and guidance. Sharing your struggles lightens the emotional load and reminds you that you're not alone. 4. Stay solution-focused. While it's natural to dwell on problems, shifting your focus to solutions accelerates recovery. Break down challenges into smaller, actionable steps and tackle them one at a time. 5. Practice gratitude and optimism. Even in the darkest moments, there's always something to be grateful for. Practicing gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, while optimism fuels hope and resilience. A story about overcoming adversity with EQ. Let me share a story about the power of EQ in overcoming adversity. A woman named Maria lost her job unexpectedly during a company downsizing. Initially, she felt devastated and uncertain about her future. Instead of succumbing to despair, Maria leaned on her emotional intelligence. She acknowledged her emotions, allowing herself to grieve the loss before moving forward. She reframed the situation as an opportunity to explore new career paths and enrolled in courses to upskill. Maria also reached out to her network for advice and support. Through conversations with former colleagues, she discovered a passion for project management and landed a role that aligned perfectly with her interests. By applying EQ principles, Maria turned a setback into a stepping stone for success. Tips for building resilience through EQ. Here are some actionable tips to strengthen your resilience during adversity. 1. Create a routine. Establishing structure and consistency provides stability during uncertain times. 2. Focus on what you can control. Let go of things outside your influence, and channel your energy into actionable steps. 3. Visualize success. Use visualization techniques to imagine yourself overcoming challenges and achieving your goals. Now that we've explored how EQ helps you overcome adversity, let's pause and reflect. Which strategy resonates most with you? How can you apply these insights to navigate challenges in your own life? Stay tuned for the final section of this chapter, where we'll wrap up everything we've learned and prepare you for the next steps in your journey. 5. The long-term impact of applying EQ in real life. Applying emotional intelligence in real-life scenarios doesn't just solve immediate challenges. It creates a ripple effect that transforms every aspect of your life. Over time, EQ becomes a habit, a mindset, and ultimately, a way of being. Let's explore how consistently applying EQ principles can lead to lasting benefits in your personal and professional life. EQ as a lifelong practice. Emotional intelligence isn't something you master overnight. It's a lifelong journey of growth and refinement. The more you practice EQ, the more natural it becomes. Like any skill, it requires consistent effort, reflection, and adaptation to new circumstances. As Maya Angelou wisely said, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. This philosophy perfectly encapsulates the essence of EQ, continuous improvement driven by self-awareness and intentionality. The benefits of consistent EQ application. Here are some long-term benefits of integrating EQ into your daily life. 1. Improved mental health. By managing stress, regulating emotions, and practicing self-compassion, you reduce the risk of burnout, anxiety, and depression. EQ helps you cultivate inner peace and resilience, even during challenging times. For example, imagine someone who practices mindfulness regularly. They're better equipped to handle stressful situations without becoming overwhelmed or reactive. Over time, this leads to greater emotional stability and well-being. 2. Stronger relationships. When you consistently apply EQ principles, such as active listening, empathy, and conflict resolution, you build deeper, more meaningful connections with others. These relationships provide support, joy, and fulfillment throughout your life. Think about a friend who always checks in on you during tough times or a partner who listens without judgment. These bonds are nurtured through intentional effort and mutual understanding, both hallmarks of high EQ. 3. Enhance career success. In the workplace, EQ sets you apart as a leader, collaborator, and problem solver. By fostering trust, inspiring teams, and navigating conflicts effectively, you position yourself for promotions, recognition, and long-term success. Consider a manager who prioritizes employee well-being and fosters an inclusive culture. Their team is more likely to stay motivated, productive, and loyal, leading to better outcomes for everyone involved. 4. Greater self-confidence. As you develop your EQ, you become more comfortable with who you are. You learn to embrace your strengths, accept your weaknesses, and pursue goals with clarity and determination. This newfound confidence radiates outward, influencing how others perceive and interact with you. 5. A positive ripple effect. When you embody emotional intelligence, you inspire those around you to do the same. Your actions create a culture of empathy, respect, and collaboration, whether at home, work, or in your community. For instance, imagine a parent who models EQ for their children. By demonstrating patience, active listening, and emotional regulation, they teach valuable life skills that shape the next generation. A story about the long-term impact of EQ. Let me share a story about the transformative power of EQ over time. A young woman named Emily began her journey of developing emotional intelligence after struggling with social anxiety and low self-esteem. At first, she focused on small changes, like practicing gratitude daily and actively listening during conversations. Over the years, Emily's efforts compounded. She became a confident public speaker, a trusted leader at work, and a source of strength for her friends and family. Her relationships deepened, her career flourished, and she discovered a profound sense of purpose and fulfillment. Emily's story illustrates how small, consistent actions can lead to extraordinary results. By committing to EQ as a lifelong practice, she transformed not only her own life but also the lives of those around her. Tips for sustaining EQ growth. Here are some actionable tips to ensure EQ remains a cornerstone of your life. 1. Reflect regularly. Set aside time each week to reflect on your progress, challenges, and areas for improvement. 2. Seek feedback. Continuously ask for input from others to gain new perspectives on your behavior and communication style. 3. Stay curious. Approach life with a learner's mindset, embracing opportunities to grow and adapt. 6. Wrapping up Chapter 5. We've covered a lot of ground in this chapter, from applying EQ in the workplace and personal relationships to using it for personal growth and overcoming adversity. Let's recap the key takeaways. 1. EQ in the workplace. Use self-awareness, empathy, and conflict resolution to lead, collaborate, and succeed professionally. 2. EQ in personal relationships. Strengthen bonds through active listening, emotional regulation, and expressing appreciation. 3. EQ for personal growth. Cultivate self-awareness, resilience, and motivation to unlock your full potential. 4. EQ in overcoming adversity. Navigate challenges with optimism, gratitude, and a solution-focused mindset. 5. The long-term impact of EQ. Consistently applying EQ principles leads to improved mental health, stronger relationships, career success, and a positive ripple effect. Remember, emotional intelligence is a journey, not a destination. Start small, practice active listening, manage your emotions during conflicts, or express gratitude daily, and watch how these actions transform your life over time. Before we conclude this audiobook, I want to leave you with this inspiring quote from Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Emotional intelligence is about making others feel seen, heard, and valued, a legacy that lasts far beyond words or actions. Audiobook conclusion. Before we part ways, let's take a moment to reflect on the key lessons we've explored together throughout this audiobook. Chapter 1. Understanding Emotional Intelligence, EQ. We began by defining emotional intelligence and breaking it down into its 5 core components: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. We also discussed why EQ matters more than IQ in achieving success and happiness. Chapter 2. Overcoming social anxiety and building confidence. Next, we tackled one of the biggest barriers to effective communication: social anxiety. You learn practical techniques to overcome fear, build confidence, and step into your power. Chapter 3. Mastering communication skills. In this chapter, we explored the art of active listening, the power of nonverbal communication, and strategies for speaking clearly and persuasively. We also covered how to handle difficult conversations with empathy and grace. Chapter 4: Building Strong Relationships. Relationships are the foundation of a fulfilling life, and in this chapter, we discussed how to build trust, practice empathy, resolve conflicts constructively, and maintain strong connections over time. Chapter 5: Applying EQ in Real Life. Finally, we applied everything we've learned to real-life scenarios, from excelling in the workplace and nurturing personal relationships to pursuing personal growth and overcoming adversity. These chapters have equipped you with the tools and insights you need to master emotional intelligence and social skills. Remember, EQ isn't just a concept, it's a practice that requires consistency, patience, and intentionality. As Aristotle once said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. By integrating these principles into your daily life, you'll create lasting change and unlock your full potential. Now that you've gained valuable knowledge, it's time to take action. Change doesn't happen overnight. It requires courage, commitment, and persistence. But I believe in you. You have the power to transform your life by applying the lessons from this audiobook. Start small. Choose one area where you want to grow, whether it's improving your listening skills, managing your emotions during conflicts, or building stronger relationships, and focus on making incremental progress. Celebrate every win, no matter how small, and don't be discouraged by setbacks. They're simply stepping stones on your journey. Remember, growth is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. As you continue to practice emotional intelligence and social skills, you'll notice subtle yet profound shifts in your mindset, behavior, and interactions. Over time, these changes will compound, leading to greater confidence, deeper connections, and a more fulfilling life. I encourage you to revisit this audiobook whenever you need a refresher or a boost of inspiration. Each listen will reveal new insights and reinforce your commitment to growth. As Helen Keller beautifully put it, optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. Believe in yourself, stay optimistic, and keep moving forward. The best version of you is waiting to emerge. Before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to thank you, from the bottom of my heart, for joining me on this incredible journey. Your time, attention, and willingness to invest in your personal growth mean the world to me. It's been an honor to share these insights with you, and I truly hope they make a positive impact on your life. If you found value in this audiobook, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the Wisdom Audiobooks channel. Your engagement helps us reach more people who can benefit from these resources, and it motivates us to continue creating high-quality content for you. Additionally, if you have any feedback, questions, or topics you'd like us to cover in future audiobooks, please leave a comment or reach out to us directly. Your input matters, and we're always here to listen and learn from you. Lastly, remember that you're not alone on this journey. At Wisdom Audiobooks, our mission is to empower you with the knowledge and tools you need to thrive. Together, let's continue growing, learning, and inspiring others to do the same. Thank you once again for being part of this community. Keep shining your light, and until next time, take care and stay wise.